All right, welcome back to the Entrepreneur, the Entrepreneur Shift the Culture podcast. We are here for week one. This is the first week in December, is it? No? Yes, first week in December, I think it is. Last time, I think we discussed Black Friday or something like that, but we're getting closer to the Christmas season. I'm
Ho,
not
ho,
sure.
ho.
What?
Ho, ho, ho. Don't prostitute yourself for Christmas.
Mother flip. So we're getting closer to Christmas. Let me be honest with y'all. As y'all know, I have a business. Jay has multiple businesses. And Christmas time is usually the busiest time for everyone. So I'm not sure exactly how my schedule is going to be the closer we get to Christmas. So I don't know if we're going to be able to do a show every week in December. But we're going to try. I'm going to see if my Thursdays are free enough to do the shows. I'll keep you updated. As of now, we should be able to do a show next week.
Yeah.
Now, the following week, I'm not sure. But for next week, we're going to do our best to do a show next week. So just stay tuned. Stay tuned to the page. We're going to try to keep you guys updated with the scheduling. And if we're unable to do a show, we'll be able to post it and let you guys know. But today, Jay is here. Jay Isaacs.
Thank you, sir.
Frequent co-host. Gail couldn't make it today, and we know Travis ain't into nothing. But we are here, and we're here to discuss
One
something.
of these days, Travis is going to pull up on y'all.
Travis is my boy, man. That's why we could talk with him like that, because
Yeah.
he's my boy. You know, Travis was a very integral part of starting the show. I appreciate all his contributions. He was there every time and every week for a very long time when we first started. And like I said, was one of the founders of the show, so we appreciate Travis and all his contributions. So when you hear us get off on Travis, it's just a friendly get off.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
man.
Just a little pokes at him that friends do from time to time.
But they mean it, but
Yeah, we are. It is true. You know, it can't be petty if it ain't true. You know,
True.
understand?
That is true.
It can't be petty if it ain't true. But like I said, we're going to be discussing something that the opposite of what we see on Instagram, because for somehow everybody on Instagram is successful. Everybody is living a glamorous life. You see a bunch of money spread across the bed. You see yacht trips. You see all kind of jewelry. You see fancy cars. Even if it ain't theirs, they try to make it look good for the gram. We see a lot of people fronting.
yeah.
And a lot of people are trying to get into entrepreneurship because they feel as though it's something easy to just get into. And I think, no, that's right. Last week we talked about that this isn't a game.
Right.
And we talked about, you know, it being a difficult thing to do. And so we're going to just dive a bit more into that and talk about the ugly side of entrepreneurship, all of the struggles and the hard things that you have to deal with when you're going down this lonely path called entrepreneurship. Jay, what are some of the things that you personally have to go through? What are the ugly things that you have to do and deal with when it comes to this path of entrepreneurship, this journey of entrepreneurship?
My main thing is stress, anxiety, and disappointment. Because with me, I started my business and my string of businesses with no real money, right? I started from the ground up, scratching and clawing in the gutter. So I sometimes, in crucial times, I find myself on a very, very tight budget. And when you're in a position like that, money coming in is very, very important. And what ends up happening is a lot of times, especially in the Bahamian society, that bread that you're expecting doesn't come in at the time that it's supposed to come in, and it has a domino effect on everything else. So you're playing a game of which fire do I put out first?
Oh.
How much fire should I allow to catch before I show that one attention? And it's stressful. It has a lot of anxiety, and you know, especially one like me, I like to have personal, professional relationships with any vendor or client that I might have, and it's really, really disappointing and stressful when I let them down, even though when I'm not truly at fault, but as an entrepreneur, you have to take full responsibility anyway.
When you say personal, professional relationship,
Yeah.
explain that, because people feel they two different things. People feel there's a personal relationship and then there's a professional
No.
relationship. So, but you put those two together.
What-
So explain what you mean by that.
What I mean by that is people say it's nothing personal as business.
Right.
But everything in business is personal because you deal with people.
Okay.
Right? So I deal with vendors and I deal with clients the way I want anybody else to deal with me. So I try to be as fair as possible. I try to understand human error. I try to make sure that I don't leave anybody hanging. I'm a utilitarianist at heart, so the greatest amount of good for the greatest amount of people. So I feel bad when I get in a situation with a tight budget and I don't have enough bread to go around, because everybody is hungry. Everybody has their own situation. Everybody has their own deadlines, and I understand the power of the domino effect,
Right.
and how stressful that could be.
Right.
So that's one of the main reasons for stress in business is money, right? That's
Right.
your bottom line. You depend on it. You want to pay your bills if you're an honest business person. And you have feelings as an individual, so you internalize, right? And that triggers my anxiety. And obviously, I don't like to disappoint people because my mother used to say I'm a people pleaser. I like to say I like to.
You a people pleaser?
That's what she told me when I was young. I have changed a lot
Right.
since I was a child.
Right.
But that's what she said. But people have to understand, business is a people. You can't duck people. No matter how much we evolve with technology and machines or whatever, and making dolls and make them say "ow" and all that other stuff, you still have to deal with people, and
Right.
people move businesses, and people come 1st. So that's what anxiety, stress, and disappointment. That's my ugly side. I front, especially with my music business. It's not about
What you mean you front?
It's not about fronting, right? Like in one of my music videos for one of my artists, I had
I
had a Bentley.
Okay, so
right?
you shoot an Instagram video.
I didn't shoot an Instagram video, but I wanted to promote a certain level of success, especially for rap.
Why?
Because people for some reason people gravitate toward it, and then when I use a hashtag, I get hashtag Bentley, and anybody that's looking up for Bentley, come and look at my video,
But
and it is proven successful.
But don't you think that that's
Lying?
not just that, because we know it's lying, but don't you think it's something that's been done over and over? Like everybody gets the nice car, they put on the expensive clothes. Like everybody wants to shoot this video that makes it look like they're living this lavish life. Like it's not original. You know what I mean?
all depends. It all depends for music. For me, it all depends on the storyline. So for that particular song, it was supposed to be one of those money counting, getting tired. Well, that's the name of the song. That type of, I guess, lifestyle where you're hustling and you want to be rolling in that money. So the only thing that you could think of is a big house, pool, car, right? I had a good friend that has a chauffeur service. He let me use the Bentley, rented a mansion, and someone I knew had a downtown club, and they allowed us to use it. Right, so basic music video. But if I'm doing something on everyday struggle or a diss track or whatever, I go in the grittiest part of town. I don't need any cars. I just need people.
But isn't
and
that
a certain level of attitude?
Is that
It's storytelling.
Is that not the dangerous thing that that has led to this culture now of where people feel success is in these material things? Like they measure success by what you could buy, what you could afford to spend your money on. And it's causing people to go into debt and live beyond their means and make stupid purchases because they feel as though this is what I have to do in order to show that I am successful. You know what I mean? And it's led to this same Instagram culture that we've referenced earlier. Do you think that that's played a part in doing that?
Well, I think that materialism has been a part of human society since the institution of class. So before it was Instagram and the Bentleys, there were castles, there were steeds, there were chariots,
Close
and stuff like that. So it's always been with us as a people, but it's gotten worse with technology and people having so much access to luxury brands or will be perceived to be luxury brands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it all depends on who you are as a person and what you aspire to be and what you want out of life. So if you want to fake it until you make it, that's some people. Some people want to earn it and then flaunt it. And some people just want to go under the radar, don't need to be famous and just want it. But to answer the question, I think it's a part of us. It's a part of everybody. Everybody just does it differently. Some people are humble with it and they do it unbeknown to themselves. And some people just go their way to show you, hey, I have this and you don't, so F you.
Yeah, I think that's it. And I think it's just insecurity. I think there are a lot of insecure people, and I think those are the people that struggle the most, especially in entrepreneurship. As when you have that level of insecurity, you tend to make bad decisions to put up a front, to make things look the way you want them to look, but it's not the way it is. You're not being real with yourself.
Yeah.
I want to address there's a question. Howard Grant asks, what are your views on entrepreneurship and this neo-colonial political culture we live in and what it takes to navigate to reach your desired goals? Break that one down for me, Howard.
I just need to know the definition of neo-colonial.
Make it clarify. You ain't got listen. I've been R and Bailey. I'm in the college. You could put it in layman's terms. You could make it simple as a simple guy. Simplify that question for me, please, Howard, because I would love to answer that for you. So if you don't mind, just simplify that question, and we would address that once you could clarify exactly what you're trying to ask. I want to just the nuts and bolts of your question. What exactly are you trying to ask?
Mine not smart.
Hey, listen, I don't try. Listen, I so simple. I tell people all the time. I simplify things, and I'm so secure in my life at this point. I'm not afraid.
Oh, okay.
I'm not afraid.
I get what he's trying. Outside influences, pretty much what it is. Neo-colonialism is the use of economic, political, or cultural pressures to control or influence other countries, especially former dependencies. So how we're influenced or pressured because we continue to borrow money from the IMF, from China, and colonial pressures from Britain and the U.S.
I got you.
Okay,
thank you,
cool.
Jay. Thank you,
all
Jay.
right, Google is my best friend.
Yeah, me too. I still enrolled in Google University. That's the university that I selected. It's free. I don't have to pay no tuition. And I get all the information at my fingertips. So all you people that feel as though you got to go to college or something to learn things, well, not so much in this day and age. This is the information era. Everything is at your fingertips, literally, and it's just a search away.
Right.
So we just came. Okay. So your thoughts on that?
My pretty thoughts on that is this. When you go into business for yourself, you have to look at the landscape. And right now, we live in a global village, right? So you have to look at what's going on in Europe. You have to look at what's going on in the U.S. and Canada. You have to look at what's going on in China and how that affects us. And now that everybody is coming into our playground to play their little war games and their economic games, you have to figure out as an entrepreneur, where do I fit in that? How does it affect me? And how can I take advantage of the situation by jumping through certain loopholes? Like right now, they're saying that in 2018 and beyond, the luxury real estate market is going to boom here in the Bahamas. So you have luxury real estate agencies that are coming here, setting up shop. Bahamians, young Bahamians are getting licensed and trying to join these agencies to take advantage of those situations. So you have to figure out which pockets in this new industry or in this new with these new technologies that you could fit, and you could ride that algorithm and then look for the next bubble. So it's just looking at different opportunities to take advantage of. That's the only thing I could say. As a filmmaker, I look at the fact of I watch what's going on at the different film festivals that come here. I look at anytime I see the Bahamas in connection with film, I try to figure out how can I get in with this casting director or that, or with music. I noticed that hip hop is the #1 streamed genre ever. So I started my hip hop thing, and I said, you know what? I'm going to go and invest in someone to do SEO analytics for me to push my music. I'm going to look for Spotify curators, whether they work for Spotify or they're independent, to place my music so I could get high accounts and hit charts or whatever the case may be. So you have to put in the work. You have to do the research. You have to know your climate. And how are you as an individual, how are you as a brand and a business going to take advantage of it? It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It's good for you as an individual, but in some cases it's bad as a collective because certain people can't read those tea leaves to find out how they're going to navigate around it.
I think you have to always be aware and always be willing and ready to make the necessary adjustments, especially even when when it's times, a lot of things you can't control.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You in an environment where other people make certain decisions, and they affect everyone. You just have to know how to navigate those decisions that are made, the rules that exist. You're going to have to learn the rules of the game before you can engage and play it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of being aware and like you said, paying attention. What are the new trends? What are the new things? What are the new technology? What are the new apps? What are the new things that I can use to benefit? You just have to constantly be putting in the work and be aware of what's going on so you could use it to your advantage. That's why I feel like it's a more underlying question that he wants to get at specifically.
I could I could spitball some ideas if he's fishing for ideas as well. All right, like we just got a direct flight from Germany, right?
Okay.
So if we have a direct flight from Germany, not all. I had a couch surfer that came to visit us. I think that was last year. He spoke
Couch surfer?
Yeah, couch surfer. They travel the world cheap and they live with people, trusted, verified people. And he was a good kid, you know.
Okay.
He fortunate for us, he spoke both English and German, but not everybody is as learned as him, right? So it's just German. So here you are. You have a direct flow of tourists coming into you from this country. Why not take the time and learn that language so that you could be on top of the opportunities where these people need translators? You could sell whatever it is that you're selling, or you're brought in to communicate or be that median to communicate. The same thing with China. We understand that now we're in bed with China. Trade has been established between these two countries. Why is it that people are still not taking advantage and learning Mandarin the way that we learn Spanish in school, right? And also, China is a consumer nation. Why is it that you think that we have to import all that stuff? What about trying to export things that they need? They are a heavily polluted country. You know that they import air?
What?
They import air. That's a thing. Canned air. Plastic bag air.
You serious?
I swear to God.
Wow.
So
I didn't know that.
why aren't we packaging our air to export to China for those rich people that say they want a breath of Exuma breeze or a breath of Long Island breeze? Take a quick whiff and make $15 a can.
I bet you.
Take advantage.
You know what?
Of
There was
these
a comedian.
situations.
There was a comedian that back in the day I remember saying he was talking about how everything is becoming so expensive and they charging you for everything. And one of his jokes was soon they're going to be charging you for air.
Yeah.
And here it is now. You're pitching a business ideas on selling air.
And it's a real thing. I was watching something with 2 Chainz because he goes around different luxury businesses or whatever. And he got someone that actually sold, I think, a bag of air on eBay for $10,000. So what this guy does now, he took that money, he invested it in a startup, and he goes to local clean parks in Canada and all this other stuff, collect their air, and export it in a can back to China. And you there's some high you get off of it because it's fresh, compressed air and oxygen and what's not. But he's winning.
Right. Well, like, you know what that leads to, well, at least that stems from your perspective, right? Your mindset in the beginning. And I think what leads to a lot of downfalls in entrepreneurship is a lot of people have the wrong perspective when they look at things. Like, they constantly look for problems, or they look for problems too often as opposed to looking for solutions. Because like just how you came up with those solutions, it's because you're in a place to where you look for the opportunities and everything. You're trying to constantly searching for opportunities.
Yep.
But a lot of people seem to be constantly searching for problems, and it seems to be so prevalent in this country, especially.
Yeah.
When you talk to people, so many people are so negative. Like, they automatically feel as though something is going to fail right off the jump. You know what I mean? And they continue to find ways to just destroy themselves or destroy their business because of that mindset that they have. And so I think it starts with, and I always say it always starts with your perspective. You have to change that. That's the only way you will be able to get anywhere, is to first change your perspective. And a lot of people have a hard time doing that. And I know it's hard because it's because of how you were raised, you know, how you were brought up. You're brought up around a bunch of negative people your whole life who tell you can't do nothing, you ain't gonna never be nothing.
Right.
And so it's become a culture. But you have to untrain yourself. You have to get yourself out of that mindset and just start to see the opportunities, because it's like, and I use the example at times, right? Well, the most common example that I use is if me and you standing on the corner,
Right.
and if I tell you, Jay, tell me how much red cars you see pass. You could be able to tell me how much red cars, but then at the end of that, if I ask you how much yellow cars pass, you can't tell me.
No,
because you were only looking on red cars.
Yep.
And so people tend to narrow their vision.
Tunnel vision.
They look for the wrong things, and they end up crashing because they don't, broaden their perspective and broaden their view to see the opportunities. Because I hear Bahamians complaining all the time about this same neo-political foolishness that's going on with China trying to take over. China trying to buy up the country and take over. And I'm like,
as a superpower, that's what they have an obligation to like, their people to create opportunities,
and my thing
to create jobs. That's their job as a government.
I don't blame them.
And
how could I look at them as the enemy if they looking to better themselves, improve themselves? listen, stop sitting back and crying and complaining. Put yourself in a position to where you could do what they're doing.
And win, yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't like when people do that, and that's all people do all the time. Is cry and
Especially
complain.
look at this commercial enterprise bill and how it got amended to, I guess, include behemoths, because it was like the threshold was too low at $250,000 to get into these type of sectors, right? What they're trying to do in a nutshell, and I'm not a big fan of the bill, but I guess I understand what they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty much trying to attract businesses to focus on technology and what's not, to create I guess a smaller version of Silicon Valley per se, right? Where you don't need a lot of money for startups. You just need to rent a nice space, maybe, and that trickles down into the economy. That has a trickle down effect, even though it might not be 200 behemoths employed or whatever. Someone owns a certain building, it's going to be rented. They're going to pay electricity, stuff like that. So they're looking
the people who looking for opportunities are the ones who are going to win and take advantage.
and here where behemoths need to take advantage. There are a lot of great ideas with great business plans. There aren't access to funding, but we have a lot of behemoths with means that refuse to invest.
Now hold on, I hear that all the time, right? And we done completely changed this topic. We ain't even talking about ugly side entrepreneurship no more. We just freestyling. But anyhow, I hear that all the time, right? That there's no access to funding and this and that. My thing is, I don't buy it. There is access to funding. However, it may not be as easy as you would like it to be. It may not be as smooth as you like it to be.
Agreed.
It's not right there for you. But the people that really need funding and are good at getting funding, they get it. Because people are getting funding. I see a bunch of businesses and stores opening all the time. I sure these people don't have $100,000, $200,000 in their back pocket. They are finding the funding.
Yeah.
So there's access to funding. It's just what you have to do to get it.
Yeah.
A lot of people want it to be just this once. Oh, let me fill out this form, put it in an application, bam, you give me the money.
That's true.
It's not that. It's not going to be that easy.
And what are you putting up to take the risk? Because a lot of people are putting up land that was either they inherited or whatever that has a certain value to secure their loans to venture into these businesses.
And there's actually a fund. I just did a panel with that Simone Bo had me on. Which day was Tuesday? On Tuesday, and there was a gentleman there who was from a organization, a government-funded organization that is specifically designed to give money to businesses.
Which government?
Millions of dollars.
Which government organization is this?
I'll have to pull it up.
Because I hope this ain't the Bahamas Development Bank.
No, it's not. It's not the Bahamas Development Bank, but I'll pull it up. And his thing was the biggest reason why people don't get the funding is because they don't follow the proper steps.
And you know
they
what?
Have the guideline. They don't qualify.
And then
they
you
don't
know what
follow
happens
the steps.
too? They don't know.
See here, and I took a screenshot.
They don't know because they're not marketing it to people. Because at the end of the day, the more money that they give back to the government, they can keep it for themselves and spend it on stupid shit.
But this is what I'm saying. That means you can't say that there's no access to funding.
Let me see.
It's the Bahamas Entrepreneurial Venture Fund. And,
really?
Yes. And he said that
and which ministry which ministry is this? Does this fall under the Ministry of Finance?
But the fact of the matter is, seeing you laughing, but the fact of the matter is, he says since their inception, they've already given millions to businesses. So people are out here getting this funding that you all say does not exist.
Mr. Peter Turnquest, Mr. DPM, I'm going
to reach out to him to try and have him on the show so he could explain it better.
That would be
explain
interesting.
it more. Yeah, I'll reach out to him to get him on the show so we could discuss funding, because I commonly hear that excuse that, oh, we don't have access to funding, oh, nobody lending no money. And this is exactly what they do. So don't, and that's, again, remember what our tag is. Losers make excuses, winners make adjustments.
If they actually legitimately are, and you know what, here's the thing. A lot of the businesses that people do need help with, they don't need millions of dollars.
That's another misconception. I agree.
They don't need millions of dollars. They need a decent help. I would dare say to maybe anywhere between $50,000 to $100,000 is a decent amount of money for any legitimate startup, because you should have your own skin to put in the game.
Yes.
So it's interesting. Send me that picture, sir.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
I need to investigate that.
I'll reach out there. Hopefully, probably in the new year, and we could do a show strictly on funding.
Yeah.
And access to funding. we
Because
could do
that's
a show.
something that people need to know about.
Yes, most definitely.
That's something people need to know
Because
about.
a lot of people just sit around and say, "Oh, I don't have nobody lending no money. I can't get access to funding. I ain't got no capital." Blah
as
blah
well
blah.
as grants for those artisans that do projects where they put money up and they need money back to market it and what's not.
Let me read another comment. Lakitra says, "What are hardships any of you have experienced as an entrepreneur? Hard to get business license, getting clients to pay on time, sourcing products, things of that nature." Business license wise, initially it was extremely difficult to get the
It's
business.
becoming easier now.
That's what I can explain. Because I mean, like maybe it's just
Timing.
maybe it's the initial getting your business license for the first time. Maybe that's the difficulty. Because when I renewed my business license, I was very surprised at how easy it was.
You know what the problem is where a lot of people face difficulty because they don't keep up on things that they need to keep up on. Like the NIB contributions to make sure that your letter of good standing is always there, right? Because once you have your paperwork and now in the more digital side, is digital, like you say, when you renew, you put your thing on and you wait. Now, for me, the wait period leaves much to be desired, but it has gotten a lot better.
Listen, I put in my I applied online. They have you upload all your documents.
Yep.
Upload the documents, and they respond to you once you upload. They say, "Okay, well, we've received this, but you need to send this in." So you get that, you upload it, and once you have sent in all the necessary documents, either the following day or 2 days later, I got emailed my business license.
Okay.
In the email, and I was extremely surprised, and I had to big up the government on that for putting that in place. So I know the renewal process is easy.
Brand new business is difficult because you have to prove everything. You have to get tight inspections if it's a brick and mortar business where people are coming in. So it's a bit more difficult, but it's worth the process. And once you go through it, you don't have to jump through those same hoops.
Right, and I was very surprised. But I just see a lot of people making a whole bunch of excuses, and that just tells me you're not very serious. You're kind of interested, but you're not serious. You're not willing to do the work. You're not willing to go through the process that's necessary for you to get to the level you want to reach. You just want that instant success. You just want to hurry up, make that post on Instagram to show people that you're doing it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
You want to post more about your wins and everything instead of the process.
Yes,
getting clients to pay on time. There's no exact science to this. There's no hard and fast rule. It all depends on the type of business that you're in. With cookies, obviously you don't get your cookies to eat if you don't pay.
Yeah, that's a lot,
right? With services, you have to pay a certain amount before you could get the ball rolling on certain services, depending on what type of service it is. Sometimes a deposit to hold a date and then collect before you do the work, or but you have to guarantee that you actually do the work to the satisfaction of the client, and then you understand that if you don't, you hold a higher level of I guess accountability and responsibility to the client to make sure that's right. Seek legal advice if you do have anything that goes beyond a reasonable amount of time, and don't be afraid to get ugly for your money.
What you mean by get ugly? Just make up your face?
Like I'm a nice guy, right? And I have a certain level of patience, and I had many situations where people have owed me for long periods of time, and I had to learn how to get ugly for my money because you don't want to be perceived in I guess in the streets a certain type of way, because once especially in our community, once Bahamians get a bone, they never let it go, and they don't understand the full aspect of the story. So you always get negative characteristics attached to your name and your brand based on public, just a little public spot that they have no idea about. So I'm very careful on how I do it. But sometimes you have to get ugly for your money.
Yeah, right.
Sometimes you have to hire little pit bulls to do the work for you. To get your money from certain people, but don't allow yourself to be trampled and taken advantage of.
Yes. Well, I know we can wrap this up because Jay, you got to run to a meeting. Appreciate you for coming out.
Yeah, man.
Like I said, we're going to do the real ugly side of entrepreneurship next week. We're going to have Dazi on next week because there's something we want to discuss and get into. And she made the post and she inspired the topic. So I think it would be great if we get on, and we're going to do it next week. So yeah, next week, next Thursday, same time, same place. Thank you for tuning in. Please share the video. Also, we're on SoundCloud. Entrepreneur to Entrepreneur. Just search for the podcast, W2E STC Podcast on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes. Just do a Google search and all of those platforms should come up. Please follow us. Make sure you like the page and go back to all of the old episodes. This is episode 71. 71 episodes in. We have a lot of content, a lot of good information, a lot of good advice. Some of y'all could probably start some businesses, and I want no percentage out of it. I don't know. Jay probably wants something out of it because Jay don't play. He ain't getting nothing for free.
It's a gimmick. I want to retire early.
But we have some good information that we've given out. We've given out for free to show. You don't have to pay for it. But we appreciate your support. All we ask is that you share the show, tag people in it. Just make sure share the information. We want to improve the community. This is the only way we're going to get better is through small and medium businesses.
Yep.
And so we want to do anything we can to contribute to building small businesses to help to build the nation. So continue to share, continue to support, and we appreciate it. Thank you. And we're going to end it as we always do with losers make excuses and winners make adjustments. Until next time, people, thank you for the support. Peace.